All right, here we go. It is the 10-month update for the Google AdSense case study, which I guess is a bit misnamed now because we're not even really on AdSense with this site. But that's how I started it. I started it as a Google AdSense case study, and I guess it should be a display ads case study, but I digress. If you aren't familiar with the site, I recommend that you go back and watch the videos for the past 10 months that got me to where I am, but just really quickly, here are sort of the basic stats. This site was born in April of 2019, so this is the 10th month. It currently has 250 articles on the site, and the majority of the content was published when I initially launched the site, although in this last month I've started cranking out content again on it. I'm not really doing any active backlinking though, just for fun. In November, I bought a link from the Hoth. I honestly can't tell you at this point whether that was a good idea or not, and in hindsight, I probably should not have done it. At this point, the site has 372,000 words or thereabouts, and for fun, I went and installed the WP word count plugin, and so I can see sort of which months I actually published articles and how much. So you can see that in April, May, and June of last year, those were some big months. And then subsequent months, not so big. And then in January, again, I'm back at it. Here is the traffic for the last 30 days, and let me move my face. In case you don't believe me, you see it's January 2, 2020 to January 31, 2020. So right now we are looking at the last 30 days, having just over 17,000 page views and 16,000 sessions. You can see right in here, if you see the little pointer circling here, this is around where I saw a dip as the result of a Google algorithm update. It seems significant to me, but all in all, assuming that the site continues to grow, I don't think it's going to be a big deal. Do I have any reason why this happened? I do not, though I do suspect that I probably got a boost probably back in November or October or September or somewhere from some other algorithm update that got corrected here. I'm not doing PBNs, not going out and doing Web 2.0 links or anything really spammy, just sort of kind of kicking along. Can't really explain that particular dip right there, but I'm honestly not that worried about it. And for fun, here's the screen share of all of the traffic since birth. So you can see that things were growing really steadily until about January, where we had sort of some rough time. But honestly, I think over time, this is not going to be a big deal. It's definitely something to keep an eye on, but overall, we're not seeing like a massive crash like some sites are. So I'm fairly confident that we'll get there. For the life of the site, we're looking at 58,000 pages in 10 months and 52,000 sessions. I feel pretty good about. If you like to see the month on month, you could come back and watch this slide a couple of times. I'm not going to linger on it too much. But you can just see how it compares here in January to months previous and just sort of what trajectory by the numbers that the site grew. Here are the earnings. You can see this little blue square right here. This is the month there in December of 2019 when I made the jump from AdSense to Ezoic for this site. There were so many reasons I did that, and there's so many reasons why the site was earning really poorly on AdSense, mostly because I wasn't really trying that hard to do anything to optimize it. I'm really hyper-focused on just trying to grow the traffic, and the monetization for me is sort of an afterthought. You can see here for January that the earnings with Ezoic are more than they were in December, but I don't think that the site is actually earning more per visitor in January because ad revenues overall per 1,000 visitors are lower in the month of January. And this is something to be expected. I think everyone across the board is experiencing a rough month here in the month of January. I'm not sweating it, especially since traffic is continuing to go up. We'll have to see how this plays out in months coming in the future. One thing I do want to point out is I've added the other column, and you can see these are small amounts, just a couple of dollars. What is that, you ask? Wouldn't you like to know? I'm joking. A couple of weeks ago, maybe a month ago, I posted a video just sort of reviewing that I had bought John Dykstra's residual ads profits course thing, and that I had implemented it and earned my money back. I now have that thing, whatever it is that is in John's course, deployed on about 5 or 6 of my sites. And I did mention again that I had earned my money back already, and I just wanted to start tracking the earnings for that method here in my case study as well. You might ask, what is this amazing thing that earned you $2 on your website this month? And as I said in my video before, I think it would be kind of a jerk thing to do to just tell people what that is and undercut John. I wouldn't call us friends, but I would call us colleagues, and he's been super helpful and generous and has come on this channel before, and so I don't have any motivation to hurt him or what he's doing, because what I think he's doing is great. I'm like a super fan of him. But what I will say is that I am aware that this particular method has an affiliate program, and I want to call it the bounty, or the payment when you refer someone is $20. So here's what I will say. If you are someone who follows this channel, who has regularly left comments, is someone that I chat with regularly, and you would like like to get started using this, come find me on Facebook Messenger and I will share the affiliate link with you. But if I've never talked to you before and I get the inkling that you're just reaching out to me because you want to get around John and you want to know what this super method is that helped me earn $2, I'm going to tell you to go and wait for John's course to be on sale again. Now I know that the numbers on this are small for this other method, but across my other websites, it's probably earning between $30 and $40 each month. And that seems to be growing each month. I mean, obviously I've only had it for 2 months, but my hope is that in the next month we will get to $50 a month and then $60 a month and then 70, 80, and 100 and so on. I will put the link to my Facebook profile down in the description and then just seek to send me a Facebook message. In general, I'm really careful about accepting friend requests because I'm not really using my Facebook profile yet to market anything. So if you send me a Facebook friend request, I'm probably not going to do anything about it, but I do check all of my message requests regularly. I got so off topic, oh my gosh. So we're looking at January. I'm fairly excited, $107 after having months of just a couple dollars here and then $12 and then 18, then 26, and then jump to clearing $100 2 months in a row for a site that's barely 10 months old. Feel pretty good about that. Now, one thing I don't think I have ever done for this case study series is disclose actually what I have spent. And I never really thought it was that important until recently I came across an interview that was done by Doug Cunnington of Professor Ron over at 1 Hour Professor. These guys are both super experienced. Ron is basically doing what I'm trying to do. And one of the things he was talking about was a new site that he had started in the last year or year and a half. And in about a year, just over a year, he had grown the site from 0 to 800 visitors a day, I think. 800 visitors a day, and he disclosed how much he had spent on it. And he mentioned that he had spent $15,000 to get to that point. I was a little shocked by that. Do I think that's wrong? No, of course not. You guys do what you want. We all do what we want. But I was like, holy cow. So in 10 months, I just thought I would share what I've spent to get my site from 0 visitors a day to between 500 and 600 visitors a day. So far, the grand total is just over $1,800. The bulk of that was for the content that I purchased in months 1, 2, and 3. The other expenses should be really familiar to you. Domain, hosting, a theme. I spent a little bit on Ahrefs, so the 1 week trial plus 1 month's worth of the subscription. I did post an ad on Pro Blogger Job and I will never do it again. And then that backlink that I bought in November for the Hoth. I don't spend any money on plugins or any other special services. I'm not doing newsletters or opt-in doodads. I don't collect emails or anything else. And so in total, I'm operating at a loss of $1,541. Does it upset me that I haven't earned all my money back? No, I look at it as an investment. So far, I spent $1,800 to build an asset that is currently earning me $100. And assuming that I don't screw it up royally, it will continue to do that. And hopefully, if I do things right, I will earn my money back fairly soon. Do you have to spend $15,000 to start a site that's successful? I don't think so. I know why, or I think I know why. It's not that Professor Ron is wasting his money. The difference is that I'm doing all the content for my site. And for this new site that he's building, he's probably not writing any of it. I mean, what would it cost for me to buy all of the content that I've created myself? There are 372,000 words on this website so far. And if I bought that content at 5 cents a word, that's $18,600. Anyway, I just thought it was interesting. All right, so the next steps and the goals. As it always has been, the focus is going to be on traffic growth rather than on earnings growth. I think it's pretty easy to get frustrated when the earnings on the site aren't growing. I'd really like to see us cross 1,000 page views a month by the 12-month mark. And the way the site is growing, I think this really is possible. It's been jumping 2,000 to 3,000 page views each month. And so we have February and March to get through. So I'm really hopeful that by the end of March, I'll have had some 1,000 page view days. Long-term goals would be to get to 100,000 page views a month by the 24-month mark. I am a huge fan of Ezoic right now. And while I would love to remain super loyal to them, I just want to know more, right? I want to understand more about how these different networks work and to be able to compare them because I can use that knowledge then in the future when I create more sites or buy other sites to know definitively in my own mind which is the right ad network for me and for this particular site. And sometimes you just have to try it out. So what I plan to do when we get to 25,000 sessions is do a test drive with Mediavine because I really want to see how it compares. People on each side of the fence like to trash talk the other, like Ezoic is awful or Mediavine is awful. There's only one way to find out, right? just go check it out. And how am I going to do all this? I'm just going to keep doing what I'm doing. I used the January content challenge to get going again as far as creating content, so I can really look at that long-term goal of getting to 100,000 page views a month. I think I'm going to need a lot more content to do that, and I'm definitely kicking myself for having fallen off last year and just not creating content for the site. I will acknowledge that I was super burned out, and that contributed a ton to it. I was also super distracted by YouTube, and I think I'm going to be continuing to battle that issue because I don't see myself giving up YouTube anytime soon. Here's what I'm not going to do. In the near future, I'm not buying any more sites. I've got plenty to work on right now. I'm not going to start any new sites. I've had a couple of ideas for what I would love to work on and start out and try, but I'm not going to do that. I'm going to hold off on the podcast thing. I've really been going around and around the last couple months about starting a podcast. I think it would be really fun, but I think I need to choose between YouTube or a podcast, at least right now, because I think I could do YouTubing and podcasting full time, but it takes away totally from content creation. So until I have enough revenue from this site to make it make sense to outsource everything, I'm just going to stay the course and continue to doing what I'm doing. That's the update. As always, if you are working on sites and you have touched base with me before about your projects, please go down in the description and tell me how they're doing. I would love to know, love to hear about your progress, any challenges that you faced, any wins. I love to hear the wins, or just let me know that you were here and that you saw this. It's great to connect in this community. Thanks so much for watching, everyone. We'll see you in the next one.